I installed a diesel heater in my workshop about 2 years ago. I published a video on it. I'll put a link to that down below. I also performed a few mods on it as well. That's in a separate video, which I'll link down below as well. Recently, I've been getting quite a few questions about the diesel heater and what it's like to own one, how much they cost, and so on and so forth. So in this video, I'm going to address those questions. Let me start by saying I'm not a diesel engineer. I'm not trained in the ways of diesel magic in any way, shape or form. This video is merely my experiences and observations. The questions, in no particular order. How much noise do they make? Well, the diesel heater's currently running in the background. If I go and stand beside it, my mic will pick up the noise that it makes. They're really quiet. The little ticking you can hear is the pump, and apart from the ticking, the only other noise is akin to a small desktop fan. The noise, as far as I'm concerned, really blends into the background and disappears very quickly. So my answer to that question is very little noise at all. Question number 2, is dust in the workshop a problem? Well, quite frankly, no. I haven't had to perform any maintenance on the diesel heater whatsoever in 2 years, and the air intake pipe is right there. I didn't bother to vent it through the outside. I didn't want to drill another hole in the wall of my workshop, so I thought I'd experiment and see whether it would cope with drawing air from inside the workshop to feed the burner, and it works extremely well. It really doesn't cause a problem, and I've no intention of drilling another hole in the wall. Question number 3 was about what I use to insulate around the exhaust pipe as it passes through the wall of the shed. And being timber frame, I was quite concerned about that, and I went with kitchen tin foil, ordinary kitchen tin foil, and it works an absolute treat. It allows the heat to dissipate around it so that that intense heat from the exhaust pipe doesn't get to the timber and doesn't burn the timber. Works absolutely fine, has been that way for 2 years, and again, I see no need to change it. Question number 4, how long does it take to warm up the workshop? Well, the workshop's about 10 meters by 5 meters, 2.2 meter ceiling. So when it's a cold day outside, 5-10 degrees, something like that, I consider that cold, by the way, then I'll come out about 8 o'clock in the morning, turn the heater on. When it's finished its run-up cycle, then I'll wind it up to about 3.5, maybe 4 hertz, and I'll leave it like that for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. That takes the chill off, and then I drop it back down to its lowest setting, which is 1.6 hertz, and I'll leave it on for probably till mid-afternoon, and then I've got to turn it off because it gets too warm to work. And question number 5, how much fuel do they burn? Well, that kind of depends how long is a piece of string, but to give you some idea, there is a calculation that you can do based on the fact that I just said I leave mine running most of the day at 1.6 hertz. That's 1.6 cycles of the pump per second. So each little tick you can hear is the pump squirting a little bit of fuel. Now that little bit of fuel that the pump squirts is 0.02 of a milliliter. So at 1.6 hertz, 1.6 squirts per second, if I times that by 60, then I'm going to get to 96 squirts, 96 times 0.02 of a milliliter per minute. And again, if I times it by 60, I'm going to get to 5,760 per hour. And if I times that by 0.02, then running at 1.6 hertz, that heater is going to burn 115 milliliters of fuel per hour. So 1/10 of a litre. Really not bad, I don't think. Especially if you're looking at using one in a smaller space than this, in a van or in a caravan or an RV, then you're going to get it warm pretty darn quick for a very small amount of fuel. Is there any smell of diesel or diesel smoke inside the workshop? No, never. I always keep a carbon monoxide meter in here and that's never gone off. I've never smelt diesel smoke, and I've never smelt diesel apart from when I've spilt diesel. How noisy is it outside, and how much smoke does it generate outside? When you start up initially, there is a little bit of noise. It sounds akin to a small van starting up running on tick over, but then once it's been through its startup cycle and it drops down to one of the lower speeds, 1.62, maybe 2.2, then it's really quiet. It's really quite difficult to tell whether it's turned on or not. If you ramp it up to 4 or 5, then you would be really well advised to get a little silencer to pop in the end. There's a couple of different types. Have a search around on the web and you'll find them. So the only thing I've changed with my heater after I performed those mods that I mentioned was to turn it from being flat against the wall when I originally installed it to now being 90 degrees to the wall. So the output now looks directly out into the workshop. And apart from that, I haven't changed a thing. I've run it off of a 12 volt leisure battery, a standard caravan leisure battery. And I keep the leisure battery topped up using a really cheap off-the-shelf battery charger conditioner. Mine came from a company called Halfords, and I think it was 12 or 15 quid. At some point, when I get round to it, I am going to pop a little solar panel on the roof and keep the battery charged up with the solar panel, but that's something for the future. And finally, would I buy another one? Hell yeah, without hesitation. I think they are a brilliant solution. Low to no maintenance, easy to operate, easy to use. In fact, the hardest thing about running one of these heaters is having to put diesel in. And if you're anything like me, you forget, or you leave it till the last minute, and then you're out fishing around last thing at night trying to find the damn can. Which isn't the heater's fault, that's my fault for not being more organised. The heaters themselves are absolutely superb, well worth the money. I hope this video has been of help to you. If it has, then give us a thumbs up, and why not consider subscribing. Thanks very much indeed for watching, and see you next time. Ta-ra.